Hi, how are
Hi
you?
there. I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you. I love your green. It's so nice.
Thank you so much. We're going to go ahead and get started. Hi everyone. My name is Taylor Martin with Beauty Queens Galore, and today we are sitting down with Miss Connecticut Earth Brielle Simmons. She is the co-founder of a nonprofit organization dedicated to combating homelessness and poverty. She's also a third-year undergraduate student majoring in legal studies with a focus on environmental law. As a future environmental lawyer, she wants to advocate for people experiencing environmental injustices, as well as promote environmental regulations that will protect and preserve our Earth. As Miss Connecticut Earth, she inspires environmental change in her community. In January 2022, she would compete for the title of Miss Earth USA. Brielle, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, so just like I said, Nationals is in like 2 months. So how are you feeling about that? How are you preparing?
I'm so excited to compete at Miss Earth USA. I've been preparing a lot. One of the main things that I've done is change my diet. I just want to present the best version of myself. And I've been a vegetarian for the past 5 years now. And even though I'm a vegetarian, I still love my pizza, I love my pasta. I love my cupcakes, my cookies, but I've been trying to change my diet, and I've been fixing like smoothies every day, and they're so good, so tasty. So that's one of the main things I'm doing to prepare. But it's also about preparing mentally too. So when I get up in the morning, the first thing I do is my devotion, and I ask God for guidance throughout the day. And with those two things, are the main ways I've been preparing, but I've been doing other things as well.
For queens that are looking to clean up their diet a little bit and maybe even go vegetarian, what would be some advice you would give?
A lot of people think it's very difficult to switch, but once you get the hang of it and just learn some new recipes, then it'll be okay. First of all, I come from a Southern family, so they love their barbecues, and sometimes that's an adjustment, like when you're going out eating with different people. But if you just know your recipes, know what you like to eat, then you're gonna be fine.
So tell us a little bit about how you got involved in pageantry and how it's helped you grow.
I love telling this story because I was in middle school, and during the time there was a popular reality TV show about pageants, about young girls competing in pageantry. And I was obsessed with the show. I never missed an episode. I was always watching it. And I just remember walking down the hallway as if I were parading or competing in an evening gown competition. And one day I asked my mom, I said, can I compete in a pageant? And she was like, this is so random, but like, go ahead, we can, we'll work on getting you in a pageant. And I'm so grateful that she allowed me as a 13-year-old to chase my dreams of competing in pageantry, because it has honestly changed my life for the better. And I won my first pageant, actually. And I wasn't expecting to win. I just wanted a new experience. And I saw all of the girls on television competing, and I said, I think I can do that. I always enjoy being on stage. And not only that, but pageantry has given me the opportunity to share about my passions of combating social injustices and creating environmental change.
That's amazing. So after all these years of competing in pageants, what inspired you to go with the Miss Earth USA system?
The advocacy. I am very passionate about environmental justice. I'm actually in school to become an environmental lawyer. And I'm very proud to be a part of a system that is on the forefront of inspiring environmental change. And even when you say the name Miss Earth USA, you automatically know what they're about. And I'm very proud to be a part of this organization.
Yep, I totally agree. It's so great how all of the queens have environmental platforms. So tell us a little bit more about yours and how did you choose it?
My environmental platform has to do with my nonprofit organization. In high school, I created a nonprofit organization dedicated to combating homelessness and poverty. Unfortunately, a family member and unfortunately, one of my family members became homeless, and it was very difficult for me to provide resources for them. And I said, well, I know I'm not the only person who wants to help other people. I started to do a lot of research on creating a nonprofit organization. And I even obtained my 501c3 status, which is very, very big for our company. And with that, a lot of people don't realize that poverty and the environment are interrelated, and all economic activity is based on natural resources. So with those two things, we wanted to combine them and give people an equal opportunity to have equal housing, have access to clean water, clean air, and that's what we do through providing environmental resources and programs.
Congratulations on such a successful platform and nonprofit. That is so amazing. I noticed that you mentioned a little bit about how we don't necessarily see how much the environment plays a role in our day-to-day lives. And I think that as for queens that are looking to compete in another system, they might shy away from Miss Earth USA because maybe their platform is not necessarily completely aligned with environmental changes and issues. So what would be your advice to somebody that is kind of on the fence about that and they're like, I don't know how to make my platform relevant to the system?
That's a good question. I believe it starts with education. The environment is in everything. Really, like the environment affects everything that we do. Even taking care of our earth, it's very important. And I think just educating yourselves on what you're passionate about and how that relates to the environment. Because when I first started my nonprofit organization, I knew that I was passionate about the environment and I was passionate about combating homelessness and poverty. And a lot of people don't realize how those two things are related. And just through a lot of research, I was able to find a connection. And it's actually just right there in front of, it was right there in front of me, but I wasn't able to make the connection on my own. I just did a lot of research. So I encourage people to do a lot of research, educate yourselves, and yes.
Awesome. So for everybody listening, if you're interested in Miss Earth USA, don't let the national platform shy you away from competing because the environment is a part of everything as we're learning today. So thank you for that answer.
Yes, I'm sorry. I just want to add one thing about that. Actually, a lot of people have tried to discourage me from my platform of, of combating homelessness, and they just didn't see the vision and how it was related to the environment. But I knew it was something that I was passionate about, and it's something I'm still passionate about, and I still want to work towards. And I just didn't let that affect me, and I just kept going. So also don't let what anybody else has to say affect you and your goals.
Yeah, that's great advice because not everybody's going to see the vision that like God has placed on you. So that's really important to just stay the path. So I want to switch gears a little bit and go back to talking about when you first started competing. So I know for a lot of people it comes naturally, and you said you won your first pageant. So as you got older, was it something that continued to come naturally, or did you have some roadblocks along the way?
Definitely had a lot of roadblocks. So when I first started competing, my very first pageant was a state pageant and I won. But then when I competed at the national pageant, I didn't please. And it was very disheartening for me and I wanted to quit. But something in my spirit told me to continue. And so I did. And I've been competing ever since, but I have taken a couple of years off and I'm just now getting back into it. But honestly, with the roadblocks, I just had to keep going. Like, you really just have to see the vision, as I stated earlier. And if it's something for me personally, if it's something I'm very passionate about, then I'm just going to keep going because I just want to see it out, see where it goes.
What would your advice be to somebody who is scared to compete in pageants, or maybe they feel like they don't have what it takes?
First, I would tell them it's all about confidence and it's all about how you present yourself. When I competed in pageantry, a couple of times I did think I didn't have what it, like when I wouldn't win or I wouldn't place, I'm like, man, like maybe this isn't for me. Like maybe I'm not good enough. And that's something that I had to overcome. And through competing in pageantry, I just had to learn it's all about confidence and how you present yourself. At the end of the day, if you go out and be the best version of yourself, then that's a win in itself. So
that is great advice. And we have a lot of different types of followers here at Beauty Queens Galore. We try to reach every single demographic that we have. So that's why I asked that question, because it's really important for people that don't really know anything about pageants to have you and have all of the queens that we talk to give that type of advice. So thank you for that. So let's talk a little bit about what is the biggest lesson that you've learned in pageantry?
That's a loaded question. I've learned so many valuable life lessons through pageantry. Recently, I've learned to not be scared and to just go out and ask people for what you want. That's something that I'm still learning to do, but I'm very proud of myself that I'm able to do that. And I mean going out asking politicians about their agendas when it comes to the environment, and asking people, not even asking people, telling people about your advocacy, and just going out and speaking on what you're passionate about.
I think that's really important, because as queens, sometimes we are really scared to, go out and talk to people, but that's how you make a difference, and that's what we're here for. So that's really good. What is your favorite area of competition?
Interview. I love interview. I love talking about who I am as a person, and I also love talking about my advocacy. And I love raising awareness for people who are experiencing homelessness and poverty. But Miss Earth USA this year has a pink runway competition, and I'm very excited about that. I'm just so excited for you all to see what I'm gonna wear. So stay tuned for that.
Can you tell us a little bit about the pink runway competition?
Yes, so the pink runway competition, all of the contestants can wear any outfit of their choice. You can wear anything you want as long as it's pink and it represents you.
Oh, that's so amazing. I love that. That's something I didn't know about the Miss Earth USA system. So if anybody is looking to compete in that system, that's something fun that you can look forward to. So you said interview is your favorite area of competition. Was it ever something that you shied away from, or something that you were scared of? Because I know a lot of queens, they dread interview.
I used to do that as well. Growing up, my favorite phase of competition was evening gown. And I still enjoy evening gown, but as I've become more comfortable with myself and more comfortable with my platform, it's easy for me to be able to talk about it. And I love talking about it and raising awareness for it, because it's very important. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't understand how much people who are experiencing homelessness and poverty are going through, and how it affects everyone. And just being able to talk to other people about that and connect with them on a personal level is very important to me, and it's something that I'm very grateful for.
Is there a question that was like the hardest question ever in the interview room? Like you were either stumped, or you were like, oh my gosh, I had to think about this for a second.
Let me think. One question that I'm always a bit or hesitant about is, I remember a judge asked me one time, so if you could have any superpower, what would it be? And I was thinking, I don't necessarily know how I'm going to answer this. I was thinking that in my head at the time. And I just ended up saying, well, I wish I could fly. So that way, like, as I'm flying, I can go over different places where people need help, and I can just give them some sort of aid that they need. And I said, this is interesting. So that's a question that I'm always a bit hesitant about, but I'm learning how to answer that.
Yeah, those are some like personality questions. I think as queens, sometimes we're always like going in the interview with like our head in the game, and we're ready to talk about our platforms. And like the first question is like, what superpower do you want? We're like, well, that's what throws us off, because it's a personality question. We were ready to go into interview talking about our game plan.
Yeah.
So I think that's a reminder to go into interview ready for both, because you never know which way it can go. So yeah. What did you discover about yourself from competing in pageants? So you've been competing since you said middle school. So up until now, what is something that you've discovered about yourself?
Discovered a lot of things. One thing that I've discovered is my fashion sense. That's something that's very important to me. And even as an environmentalist, I'm learning now how to shy away from fast fashion brands and to shop sustainably. One of my favorite places, well, actually, I think it's since the past year, I've only shopped at thrift stores. And yeah, so I've shopped at thrift stores and I've upcycled a lot of my clothing items. And it helped me develop a sense of style. And even with pageantry, I've never had a stylist. It was usually just my mom and I thinking or like brainstorming off of each other. And that has also helped me to create my sense of fashion.
As a queen, what type of advice would you give to somebody that is trying to live sustainably, specifically regarding fashion?
That's a good question. I would tell them to first develop your style and to shy away from fast fashion brands because the fashion industry is one of the top 5 polluters. And yeah, a lot of people, they don't realize that. They always think it's like plastic. Well, it is plastic, but they always think it's like other type of industries as well. So I would just tell them to do a lot of research, go to different thrift stores. Even in your town, you can start in your town by going to different thrift stores and online too.
So what is something that if you are to win Miss Earth USA, if like the very next day, what's something that you want to do?
I love this question. If I were to win Miss Earth USA, I would want to travel across the United States and continue to implement different programs within my nonprofit organization in different states and provide people who are experiencing homelessness and poverty with different resources that they need. I have actually done that stateside, so across the East Coast, and I would love to continue to expand that throughout our nation.
That is amazing. I think the judges are going to love to hear that.
Yes.
So what is something that you want to be remembered for?
My heart for service. Ever since I was young, I've always wanted to help people. I always wanted to advocate for people. And I believe as a community and as a nation, we should all have the opportunity to lend a helping hand to other people. And that's something that I want to be remembered for. I want to inspire other people to do that as well.
That's absolutely amazing that you have this legacy that you want to leave. And I wish you the best of luck in getting there. I think you're on the right path.
Thank you.
So a question about pageant resources. So as a pageant resource, such as ourselves, what is something that as a title holder, you would like to see more of from us as far as reaching out to the pageant community?
This is a good question. I love this question. For me, I believe like a lot of sponsorships are very helpful for title holders. It can be difficult at times for title holders to go out and get their own sponsors, but I believe you all as a pageant resource, you're doing a great job and even reaching out to title holders, and I'm very appreciative for that. And I think you all are doing a great job, so keep up the good work.
Thank you so much, and we're going to take that advice. But right now I want to go to a fun game of this or that. So I'll give you 2 options and you tell me which one and why, okay?
It sounds good.
All right. Swimsuit or evening gown?
Evening gown. I love evening gown. I've been obsessed with evening gown, like I said, since I was little. And I would just parade like as if I were my evening gown in the hallways of my parents' hallway. So I love evening gown, but I also like swimsuit too. I feel as if I can have my Victoria's Secret moment on a stage. So I love them both, but I prefer evening gown.
Okay. Sneakers or stilettos?
Stilettos. I love a good 6-inch heel, a platform heel, my favorite.
Blush or bronzer?
Blush. And it's interesting because when I started makeup, when I started using makeup and wearing makeup, I didn't really like blush. I would always wear highlight or blonde or bronzer, and now I'm just getting into blush, and it's really good. I enjoy it.
Yeah, I think that that's something that I used to do too. Like in high school, when I was really starting to get into makeup, I would only do blush and I would only do bronzer and highlighter. And I'm starting to learn now that blush gives you actually more of a natural look because you have kind of like that blush in your skin tone when you don't have makeup on. So,
Yes.
um, natural glam or full glam?
Natural glam. I'm still learning how to exactly master full glam on myself, but natural glam is always a good go-to because it's very easy and light on your face. You don't have to cake a whole bunch of makeup on, especially when it's hot. You don't have to like sweat all the makeup off.
Dress or jumpsuit?
Jumpsuit. I love jumpsuits. I have a lot of jumpsuits. Actually, I was like, I'm trying to think of the jumpsuits I have. I have a lot of jumpsuits. I love jumpsuits. They're one of my favorite clothing pieces.
Okay. Um, that will be the end of the game. And I want you, since we're coming to the close of the interview, tell us a little bit about how we can follow you and also how we can get involved with your nonprofit organization.
Yes, so you all can follow me at Miss CT Earth on Instagram, and you can also follow my personal page at SOO Brielle, so Brielle. And I should be posting my Think Global Act Local pretty soon, and there you can see all the information about my nonprofit organization. And we actually did a program that I'm so happy to share with you all, so stay tuned.
Oh, exciting. We're so excited about that. And we are so excited to continue supporting you on your journey to Miss Earth USA, which is in just a little under 2 months.
Yes.
So exciting. We're so excited for you. And we hope you have an amazing time and wish you the best of luck.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Have a great rest of your day, okay?
Thank you, you too. Thank you again.
Bye.
Bye.